I am giving this broadcast stream thing a try again. Apparently the last one didn't go the way I had hoped. Is there anyone out there listening to this one or watching it? Sorry if I look a little stressed. This thing just, it really aggravates me. Okay, let's give it a try. And unfortunately, this darn thing isn't showing me my camera view. Let's see. Present to everyone. Hide. Okay. Presented to everyone. Let's see. Okay, well, presenting to everyone, but I still can't see myself on here. Oh, okay. Okay, let's try this. Okay, it's still that I'm visible, but I don't see myself at all. I just don't get it. Accessing my camera and my microphone. All right. Let's see now. Let's try this, hopefully. Entire screen are Googling. Nah. Okay, element, which I don't know if you are. I'm just still having issues with this. You would think this live streaming thing would be very easy, but no, it just has to be so freaking difficult. Let's see here. Well, I don't blame anyone if they haven't shown up yet on the stream. Okay, if this darn chat thing would just go away, the darn web page might just come on, click the chat. Click on it. All right. I thought I had figured out, but then yeah, it was about this live stream. I don't know why we can't just have it where Google Camera. I mean, seriously. Okay. And from what I'm looking at here at my YouTube page, because here, let me stupid. Sorry, this darn thing is just being freaking grief. Okay. Yes, I mean, like, screen. share. Okay, let's see here. So yeah, I'm trying to keep this darn thing. Anything. Anything? No, the camera's still airing. Why does this damn thing have to be such a grieving task? Okay, I got one watching right now. Kidding now. You right now. It's just now sharing your screen with Hangout, Google.com. Yeah. Now, if only the thing would just open up, because that's the problem. Is this Google Hangouts thing is probably the real reason why this, because it has to be here. It can't be on the YouTube page. I mean, I have a camera connected into my hardware here. So I don't understand why Google just can't connect to it. Click out of that. Okay. What the? What do you? Oh, okay. I thought this thing stopped broadcasting on me. Apparently, that's the stop broadcast button. You see, this is to me the real problem. I mean, I'm just trying to interact with all you people, let you see me, but I can't even see myself on this dang thing. I don't even understand it, and it really does take me off. And I don't even know if you can even hear me or not, because alrighty, how do I make this thing justice? Let's try cameraman. It better work. Okay. Downloading app. All right. As guests, join and hide your audio and video from my broadcast. Hide their audio from my broadcast. No. Broadcast the large video that I see to my audience and hide the other video feeds. No. New guests in my large 3+ broadcast are muted when they join. No, I don't want that. This does not seem to be helping at all. Let's see. Let's see. I don't want to turn camera off. Okay, let's see here. All right, I got settings here. I got in terms of camera, USB video device 046B ... 0825. I don't know if that's meant to be good. Yeah, that's pretty much what I have. Under audio device, I have USB audio device, and then I have the default, and then I have SoundMax digital audio. I would think I would want to stick with the USB audio device because it goes well with the camera, but the in terms of sound, I either have default or SoundMax audio, and I can't tell if it's voice. What do we get here? There's either voice audio, maybe that. Yeah, I still don't see myself here. It's all I have is a little black box in the corner with green, probably symbolizing the fact that I'm even talking and can be heard. But all I have is a big black box that just reads you. I don't see myself. And if I can't see myself, how can I know for a fact that any of you out there can see me? Therein lies my problem with this entire thing. I know I have one person watching, and I do appreciate you watching and putting up with me. I just really, really wish this whole live streaming thing was just so simple. But if I can't figure it out, I'm probably going to have more difficulty with this from here on out. And I mean, I don't get it. The video is obvious. I use, what is it? Windows Movie Maker? Yeah, I mean, I just use the camera and record myself with that. I don't understand why connecting it with Google Hangout it has to be such an issue. Let's see. What happens if I adjust it to HD? Will it be fine? Please tell me if this is fine. Because I can't tell. And again, all I see is my icon image, my profile image. I do not see myself, and if I can't see myself, how do I know it's working? That's what aggravates me here. I know I probably sound stupid saying oy 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 so much. This is just how I get when I'm frustrated, and it really, really ticks me off. I'm sorry, but let's try control room. What do we got here? Can I turn the volume up? Adjust my audio level there? Let's see. Come on. What happens if I... No, I don't want to turn off camera. Okay. There we go. Okay, can you see me now? Hello? Well, I still got... See, I got two things on right here. I got the Google Hangouts thing, and I have the channel and if you come to the show, to let me know if please. This is all again, it is the circle that is my visible. I just don't understand. It's not going the way I'm not. It's some sound wave is radiating from it, but I can't actually see myself, and I have a camera right in front of me. It doesn't... Who designed this freaking... Why is it that it's only usable for apps or whatever computer? Let's see here. Okay, why do I still not? Why am I still not seeing my know if? Okay, let's try closing out of control. Camera. The camera is. It's. I do not see myself in the feed. Uh, I'm giving me trouble live streaming because I see I've lost my one viewer. I'm sorry to alert, but let's try something else. Oh, come on! I see you there. Forgive me if I'm sounding frustrated and less enthused. I'm trying so hard. Oh, I get 2 viewers now. That's good. Out. See, the not working and when you're not cool, so I'm looking at Google on it, and fortunately, just it. I see sound waves radiating from it, but I want to see, as far as I know, I don't know if I even am visible to all of you paid cheers, and going back and forth between my icon image, full frontal view of me. It's like a little black in the lower right corner. It says you in it. That's a problem. I'm or bad. I am just. I could really use some to let me know if this is working. You could comment in the chat to tell them, then I may have to hold off on live streaming because this whole thing is just being a hassle to me. Live streaming would be easy, but it's just not. All it is just, but it's understand why I can't. It seems like next being quick to be wasting use of my time. I wondering. I'm gonna go know hanging out to go. Let's see here. Okay, okay, maybe this I see to my audience and hide the other video feeds. Okay, maybe that'll work, hopefully. This. I don't even know what hide from broadcast is. One day here. Personally, let's see. I'm gonna try, see what I get. Hopefully, it won't. This doesn't have to be the best live stream I've ever seen. Apparently, that'll work. Did not get this. How do I get where my face that start visible up? I mean, seriously, who the hell thought this Google Hangout thing to just connecting camera to a computer tower and just the software of the internet connects to it? You would think they would Hangouts help. Yeah. Well, okay. A video call, you connect with friends, with family, friends, or coworkers. That's good. Before you start so connect the camera where it pulls to the computer. Make sure they have the camera and microphone. Click allow. Download and install latest version of Hangouts plugin for Internet Explorer. Okay, camera and microphone. Click video call. That's that one. Okay. Come on. No, I don't want to leave call. Let's see here. Where is... No, we're getting there. A message will appear at the top of the video call window. Click allow. You only need to do this once. You can record. The video call is using your camera and microphone. The video camera using, okay. Alright. Let's see. Continue allowing hanging this camera. Always block No, 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 no. Microphone. Manage media settings. Maybe be reloaded before the new effect. God forbid give me what I just simple straight answer hating and media stream my settings. Maybe that'll help. Or better. Exactly enthused with this live stream. It's just rookie critic. I'm sure you know now. Cool. Good to see ya. Coming out the camera off helps get rid of the sounds. Yeah. Stream all those. So if you want tips or tests today, I might do that. Yeah. I see you there. But I should just let's see here. USB audio device there. Manage. I don't know. It requires access to the camera. Yeah. Unsandboxed plug-in access. Allow all plug-in. Ask when a site wants to. Yeah. Automatic downloads. Ask when a site tries to download files automatically after the first file. Yeah. Devices control. Ask me when. USB devices. Manage. Done. And done. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. From what I can see here. Okay. Turn off. Oh, wait. What did you say? Sometimes turning the camera off helps get rid of the robotic sounds. Okay, let's try turning it off. Okay, okay. Okay, I see the icon again, but I can't tell if I'm even, you know what, I'm just gonna unplug this particular headset and put this one back in, see if I can actually hear myself now. Because if I can't hear myself, then chances are I don't know if I can be heard myself, if you can hear me. Let's see now. Okay, now I can hear myself better. Well, that's good. Okay. Okay. Now then, since this might be more of an audio stream than a live stream, I'm going to how should I call this live stream or audio stream? Alrighty. I notice I'm only here seeing one viewer now. Please identify yourself. Let me know how I sound now. Don't be shy. I can wait. No? All right. Well, if you're not going to identify yourself, that's okay. I won't. I'm not someone who gets touchy like that, or at least I try not to be. But yeah, yeah. This would be my first live stream. Granted, the first half hour didn't go quite as I had hoped. I think I may have figured it out. Maybe if if you give me a moment, let's see what happens if I try muting the microphone. But let's try this. Microphone. This now, but yeah, yeah, two. I'll be lucky. Take three. Wow. Talk about a first. Okay. The Rookie Critic was on here just a little bit ago, but anyone else want to join in? They're more than free. We got another viewer here. All right. Anyone out there? Let me know how this thing is coming in. I may have to do because this hassle again. So I think I need to choose. I think I'm gonna have to turn on camera for the time being, which really sucks because I really want, and not just my picture, my goofy picture where I actually tried to look like the Fonz from Happy Days. But yeah, all I know is that this, see, I have the Google Hangouts thing open, but at the same time, I also have my YouTube page up, so that way I can see the live feed while I also look at the chat. And oh wow, lost that second viewer again already. Well, it goes to show that this live stream ain't gonna go the way I'd hoped. Not that I can blame any of you watching or hearing, because apparently setting it up alone is a hassle. But yeah, now we got this thing somewhat rolling. What's there to talk about, really? Yeah, my Dolphins aren't going to the playoffs. But hey, there's always next year. I hear they're firing the current coach, so hopefully that means that the next coach will be more well, I believe Goldfinger from the movie 007 Goldfinger said it best. Perhaps your successor will be more successful, or something like that. But yeah, I really wish my Dolphins would get into the playoffs, so this way we can finally get a Super Bowl win for the first time in years. I especially hope for my stepdad's Washington Redskins to get there too, so this way we can square it off, and because we're already one apiece in the Super Bowl, we can finally settle the score once and for all. But apparently both teams suck too much, or sports is rigged to the point where only specific teams go to the playoffs and every other team just gets crapped on and left in the wind. But essentially, yeah, I just feel like, you know, sports has become rigged nowadays. I mean, it's like WWE in a way. They tell you who wins, or they tell the teams who is going to be the winner, and they just go out in the field and put on a good show to make it look good before, you know, we get the you know, the final thing. I'm not sure this is fact. I'm just voicing my personal opinion on the matter. I could be wrong, but for right now, that's the way it seems. But yeah, that's it on sports. What else is there to talk about? Movies. Yeah. I actually saw 2 movies this past weekend. I was hoping to use this live stream as my review to them, but I guess I'll have to do that after this is over. But yeah, essentially saw 2 movies in one weekend and loved them both. One maybe a little more than the other, but I still love them both. Definitely going to get them when they come out on DVD and Blu-ray. And that's another thing, too, I feel is the problem with most movies on Blu-ray and DVD these days. Some movies are so good that they have them in a Blu-ray plus DVD combo pack. And yet, the other ones, like, for example, when Avengers first came out, the very first Avengers, they had it in a Blu-ray plus DVD combo pack where you can watch the DVD version, and then on the Blu-ray version they have all the deleted scenes and other special features and goodies and such. But when Captain America: The Winter Soldier came out, they had only the DVD version and the Blu-ray version, not the Blu-ray plus DVD combo pack. What the hell is up with that? I mean, seriously, why have the 2 of them separated and not together? Seriously, it's just stupid. I remember in the old days where it was DVDs, no Blu-rays, and you got the special features on them. Now we're in a time where they're moving all the special features to Blu-ray versions, and they're saying, to hell with the DVD versions. I mean, it's like the DVD's on its way of going the way of the VHS. And, but yeah, sometimes it annoys me. What's also annoying to me is how some old movies, whether they be good or not, they don't get the Blu-ray / DVD treatment. For example, there was a 90s comedy made by the people who made I think it was not Cops. Oh yeah, the Police Academy movies. Yeah, from the makers of the Police Academy movies, there came a movie that I grew up loving called Ski Patrol. And I won't go too much into it for anyone who wants to see it, though you might have difficulty because this movie is not on DVD or Blu-ray at all. The only way you can get it is on a VHS on eBay. And I don't even know if there are even many of them left. And that's stupid because it may not have been the best movie, but it was still an entertaining movie that you'd be stupid not to convert onto a better, more upgraded system like a DVD or a Blu-ray player. And yeah, it's just some good stuff like that doesn't. I mean, yeah, it may not have been the best, but it was my personal favorite. Yet they don't put it on DVD, and it sucks. But and I'm pretty sure there was a few other things that that are old, yet they never thought to convert to DVD and Blu-ray, and again, it sucks. Let's see. What else is there? Video games, maybe? Yeah, video games. I actually got a game for the holidays from my dad. I got oh, hey, open-minded movie man. Nice to see you there. Yeah, as I was just saying, I talked a bit about my personal view on sports and movies, but now I'm on video games, and I'm hoping, like I said, I'm hoping that some people wise up and take some old stuff that are not on DVD or Blu-ray and finally convert them, like Sea Patrol. But yeah, back to what I was saying about video games. Over the holidays, I got L.A. Noire, and I gotta admit, it's very good. A bit back, for anyone who doesn't know, I am a fan of the Fox TV series called 24 with starring Kiefer Sutherland, and I was going back researching the 24 the game, and I came across a review of the game itself, and when they reviewed the interrogation levels, they said it wasn't L.A. Noire style interrogation, but it was still somewhat effective. Now, having played some of L.A. Noire, I can understand what they meant by the whole 24 interrogation style levels not being the best. Because when you're questioning a suspect, you're given like one of three choices. For example, you ask a question, they give their answer, and if they're being truthful, you can continue as the good cop. But if you suspect they're lying, yet you have no evidence, you try bad cop. But if you suspect they're lying and you have proof of it, then you outright accuse them. And I have to admit, it's a tricky game. The one suspect I questioned was actually played by the actor who played, what's his name? Ted, from Ted's father from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, dude. And, yeah, it was cool it was funny when I saw the playing of the game. I was like, I know that guy. He looks familiar. He looks like Ted's dad from Bill and Ted, the uptight police officer. And all of a sudden, I looked it up. Turns out I called it. And but yeah, when I was questioning him in L.A. Noire, he basically he was the kind of guy who found this Argentina embassy council car in his backyard. Some Mexicans had, I know, stereotypically, some Mexicans had jacked the tire and or the wheel as a whole. I forget exactly, but essentially, the old man, which was Ted's father from Bill and Ted, he saw most of it, and but he was just out there yelling at the kids playing baseball because they had a bad habit of accidentally hitting the ball into his glass window, asking for their ball back. But yeah, when I was interrogating him, questioning him really about to say if you say if you try to play bad cop, chances are you get him to shut down. But if you play good cop, you're basically whatchamacallit, you're kind of appealing to his ego. Yeah, Hal Landon Jr. Thank you for the reminder on that one. Yeah, basically, if you try good cop, you can kind of boost his ego and get him so cocky that he'll tell you the truth. So, yeah, you kind of got to get a feel for the suspect visually and how they talk, and that can help you decide on whether or not you want to play good cop, bad cop, or accuse them. But yeah, I think to myself, if they were to make a new 24 the game today, I know there's not much 24 stuff going on, but if they were to make a new one, and they would want to do it with better graphics and storytelling and all that, the way games are made today, I think the LA Noire style of interrogation would definitely help with the 24 the game's interrogation style. But, yeah. What else is there? Let's see. Give me a moment. I will, pull up my channel for a moment, see if I can recall a subject I may have touched upon in my, old vids that I may not have gone enough into back when I first did them. Let's see. Yeah. There's I don't know if any of you watching right now my previous gameplay videos of me playing Shadow Warrior, but I like I said in my commentary of the videos. Oh, Caitlin, Keeper of the Jeremys, welcome! That's okay, don't need to worry about being late. Personally, I hadn't actually, this is sort of an improv, live stream. I, started it live over about, let's see, I started it live about over a half hour ago, had a lot of technical difficulties getting it set up, and so... But yeah, unfortunately myself, and having the microphone on, so it was sort of... So thanks to the rookie critic advising that I turn the camera off, you're probably just gonna have to see my my icon and listen to me. But yeah, it's good to see you on board. But yeah, I did address this in my Shadow Warrior gameplay videos, but I'm a big fan of the Japanese feudal Japan era. You know, the whole pagodas, cherry blossoms blowing in the wind, samurai swords, ninja. I guess you could say that my fascination with this particular culture started back with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. As a kid, I just saw 3 humanoid-looking turtles with unique colors, blue, red, purple, orange, and, you know, each of them had their unique traits that I liked. I associated more with Michelangelo because I was always a party dude. Stream isn't perfect, but I'm sure it's not as scrambled like it was earlier. Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. Thank you. I'm hoping one day to improve this darn thing because I want to be seen and heard. Not to sound like a egomaniac or anything, but yeah, I want you all to see and hear me while I interact with you. And, but yeah, I was relating a lot to Michelangelo as a kid. I also like Leonardo because blue's my favorite color. And, yeah, just, I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I love the original movie. Oh, my sports team? I'm a Miami Dolphin fan. And I know they're not going to make it to the playoffs this year, as I said earlier. And, but the fact that my team's coach got fired, I don't wish that on many people at all, but yeah, the fact that he's fired means that the next one could be more successful, as Goldfinger had said to James Bond. But yeah, essentially, I hope my Stats Redskins and my Miami Dolphins go to the Super Bowl next year or sometime soon. Oh yeah. Oh, your team won last night. Well, congratulations. But yeah, back to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The 1990 movie was great. The dark grittiness with the lighthearted fun. And I always cry when Michelangelo cries during that campfire scene. But, yeah, the thing about the original movies in the early 90s was, with the first one, it was mostly, action-driven, and there was science with their origin, but there was always a hint of mysticism. Like in that one moment when Leonardo is sitting down meditating, and then he sees Master Splinter. And then during the campfire scene, when the projection of Splinter appears, it feels like there's more to them than just a scientific accident, like there is something mystical about the Ninja Turtles. The second movie, Secret of the Ooze, went all science-y and all that, and not to mention a little more kid-friendly because they barely use their weapons at all. But, I know that a lot of people like to rag on the third movie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, subtitled nowadays as Turtles in Time. But, and I know why they like to brag on that one, because people back then were hoping to see, Krang and the Technodrome and Dimension X, but instead we got a mystical scepter that time traveled the Turtles back to ancient Japan, the time period in which the ninja were known for. And yeah, we didn't see them utilize their ninjutsu against ancient ninja, but I enjoyed the story. I know that there are some problems here and there, I acknowledge that, but I like the fact that it was more mystical, and we also got to see some depth behind the Turtles. We saw Raphael, the angry one, actually feel calm in the environment, and we got to see him, bond with this little boy, Yoshi, who may or may not be an ancestor of Hamato Yoshi, the master of Master Splinter. And then we, of course, see Michelangelo bond and fall in love with Mitsu, even though she's in love with someone else. So and we all know Michelangelo is often the one who is vying for April O'Neil's affections. Now, I know that nowadays they instead make Donatello instead. Open Money Movie Critic, the next two sequels were definitely the family-friendlier. 3 wasn't all that bad. They at least used their weapons a bit more in that one than the second one. Yeah, definitely. I mean, see, that's the thing. I do acknowledge the problems the third one had, but it was definitely it is personally my favorite. I do absolutely respect the very first one because it hinted at the mysticism, but I love the third one because it seemed like the third one was, going more that route. And yeah, and I know Casey Jones returning may not have been the same because he was babysitting the samurai time travelers, but it was cool also to see, him as a character in the past, possibly an ancestor of his known as Wit. And yeah, I mean, I feel like Ninja Turtles 3 just gets a more beef than it deserves, It may not be what I think that's why people don't like it wasn't what they wanted at the time. But I have always loved and respected it, and I'm just saying, if there are more people out there who can be a little more open-minded to, see the good in the bad, then maybe the movie will get a little more love and respect. Kind of like the prequels for Star Wars and all that. Because when I first saw the prequels, I did not hate them at all. I went into episode 1 and I came out loving it. I still loved it even 3 years later when Attack of the Clones came out. I heard some people I knew and loved were disliking Phantom Menace. Yeah, I did not agree with their opinion at all. I still love Phantom Menace. I acknowledge now that Jar Jar may have been a little overbearing and childish, but he at least contributed to the plot, you know? And I know a lot of people like to rag on Jar Jar a lot, because he's the one that gave Palpatine all the power of the Senate in Attack of the Clones, but do not forget, Padme Amidala is the one that put him in office when she denounced Chancellor Valorum, because it's still better than Michael Bay's versions. Yeah, gladly will defend the prequels if need be. Yeah. And, yeah, like I was saying, I never once hated the prequels. You know, looking back, I can see even the bad dialogue exchanges between Anakin and Padme in Attack of the Clones, but that never bothered me when I was watching the movie. I was so engrossed, I think is the right word. I was so immersed in the movie that I chose not to think about most of the dialogue exchanges. Caitlin, Keeper of the Jeremys, I loved all the prequels too, even Jar Jar admittedly, but now that I've grown up a bit, he's more annoying than I remember. Well, okay, maybe he is a tad bit annoying, but he's still, like I said, he at least contributes, unlike certain characters in the new movies that are not real sequels. It's kind of like how I address the movie that divided the fandom as that movie which shall not be mentioned. Kind of like, Voldemort. But yeah, Jar Jar contributed, and yeah, he was admittedly overbearing, but here's the funny thing. I relate to Jar Jar. I always have. That's why I never hated him. No, well, I never really hated him, but there were times where I did bash him in the past, but that wasn't real bashing. I was just agreeing with others just so that I can keep them in my circle and all that. I was trying to make some friends, and when they say they hate Jar Jar, I was like, okay, yeah, Jar Jar was stupid. I didn't really mean it because, I didn't feel that way. I related Jar Jar because, to me, open-minded movie man, I'll admit Jar Jar wasn't the best character, but like you said, he contributed to the film and at least had some funny moments, etc. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I never really hated Jar Jar because I related to him because he reminded me of another character, another popular character that most people would probably overlook today. He reminded me of Steve Urkel from Family Matters. Did I do that? But yeah, I mean, I was expecting Jar Jar to at least say that, at least once or twice. I mean, he causes an accident, and yeah, it's like everyone's looking at him, and he's like, "Did Misa do that?" I know, but yeah. I mean, Urkel is to me how I would describe Jar Jar. Jar Jar was the Steve Urkel of Star Wars. And I know a lot of people say they prefer the comedy of 3PO and R2 because it's, I think, neurological, and Jar Jar's more slapstick. But here's the thing. Slapstick is one of the things that 3PO and R2 were. Yeah, they were more neurological, but they had some slapstick moments. And Jar Jar, he was meant to be like the king of slapstick. I mean, I don't know if any of you saw my one video earlier in my channel called Classic Comedy, but basically I showed or attempted to show 3 videos of Abbott and Costello from the movie The Naughty 90s. The comic relief, yeah. But yeah, the Naughty 90s, there was the one skit, who's on first? I'm asking you who's on first. That's the man's name. That's whose name? Yes. Yeah, technically it's Jar Jar's fault for the occurrence of every Star Wars movie. He allowed the creation of the first galactic empire, so yeah, he did contribute to the plot. Yeah, but here's the thing. He wasn't the only one that contributed to the galactic empire. Padme did too, because, remember, she's the one that ousted Valorum, allowing Palpatine to take office. Most people don't rag on Padme, yet they're always eager to rag on Jar Jar. But yeah, I still love Padme, but yeah, that is her fault too. But anyways, essentially, darn, I almost lost I think I'm losing my train of thought here. What was I talking about again? I hate when I lose my thoughts. But, yeah, well, we got 4 people watching now. Open-Minded Movie Man, Caitlin, Keeper of the Journeys, and I think 2 others. I just can't tell who they are, though. But yeah, essentially, I don't really hate the prequels, and I don't hate Jar Jar. Jar Jar reminds me of Steve Urkel. Oh yeah, I remember what I was talking about now. Abbott and Costello. There's the Who's on First joke. There was this one where, shortly after the Who's on First segment, they went to eat some food, and basically they ordered catfish. And while they were, the people and the cooks were making catfish, some meowing kittens, they were running around, and he's like, "Scat! Scat, cats! Or I'll turn you into cat soup!" And then Costello's like, His eyes are widening. He's wondering if the catfish that they're about to make is actually coming from real cats. And then as he's still trying to get the cats out of the kitchen, the lady who's cooking the catfish, she's like taking a butcher knife and chopping it, and then at the same time as she's chopping, the guy's smacking at the cats, making them go "Meow!" And Costello is like losing his mind. He thinks they're really killing the cats, and then Abbott's like, "What's the matter? I thought you were hungry." And he's like, "Not that hungry." And then he brings the cooked catfish out, and then he takes his knife and fork. He's about to start cutting it, and then he hears a Apparently the cats came out of the kitchen and were fighting each other under the table, but he can't figure it out. It's funny. That is classic slapstick comedy, and I feel like Jar Jar is meant to be that for the prequels. And I understand people like to rag that it's too much, too overbearing, and that's understandable. But that was the whole point, I think. It was meant to be slapstick, and people nowadays don't have the sense to enjoy some slapstick. They mostly want to enjoy smart humor. Sometimes you gotta dial back and enjoy some slapstick. I mean, every now and then I look on YouTube for old videos of, Steve Urkel and Abbott and Costello, and it's good. I feel like slapstick is becoming a bit of a dying art. But, yeah, what else? Yeah, back to what I was saying about episode 2. I was so immersed in the movie. Oh, I love slapstick comedy, honestly. Well, that's good. That's good. If you love something, don't deny it. Don't deny your love, even if others don't agree with it. But yeah, essentially, episode 2, I was so immersed that I was able to overlook the what is now considered the cringy dialogue. So, yeah, I just I just went with it. You know, it's like what Deadpool said in the Deadpool video game when he tried rewriting the script with crayon. He's like, "Hey player, go with it. We're about to change your fucking life. Bring the noise!" Boom. But yeah, I just went with the movie and overlooked the bad dialogue to just take in the story, take in the mood, the vibe. Something most people don't do with movies nowadays because it's all senseless, high-paced ADHD action. Oh wait, that would probably be an insult to people with ADHD. Which I technically was diagnosed with, so I guess that's an insult to myself in a way. But yeah, essentially, I feel like Hollywood just doesn't know how to be subtle in anything anymore. Star Wars had some subtlety to it. And, in fact, it was so subtle in a way that, it could actually, stick a lightsaber through you before you even notice it. Hollywood, they're about as subtle as a sledgehammer to the face. If that makes any sense, I think. How about this? They're as subtle as a blaster bolt to the face. Or something like that. Forgive me, I'm trying to work on my comedy. But, oh, here's something a little funny. Back when I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh card games, there were these two guys that I played the game with, and one of them preferred Monsters Light. The other preferred Monsters of Dark. And then without skipping a beat, I just said, well, I prefer both, or I go both ways, or something like that. And it took me about a second after I walked away, and I went back and what I said, and I'm like, did I really just say that? It was like it was an accidental joke, and I think that's one of the best kinds of jokes, the accidental ones. Here's another example. One of my coworkers. He's not my coworker anymore. He got transferred, but he was like the one assistant manager was like pushing us all to do better than her in terms of sales. He said to one of my other coworkers, "If I can do better than her, God will literally shine a bright light on my privates and make them grow." And you know what I said without missing a beat? I said, "Now all you need is for your balls to drop." And trust me, my other coworker who heard it, he was laughing so hard. I never saw him laugh that hard before. And it was like an epic burn. Yeah. They really throw a lot of slapstick in the Evil Dead sequels. Oh yeah, definitely. I actually have Army of Darkness. I have my dad to thank for that one. The one thing I do like about Evil Dead 2 was that moment where he accidentally falls on his butt, and then the stuffed moose's head looks down at him and like, and then all the inanimate objects, the furniture, are all laughing at him, and then he's like, he's laughing right with them, and then he's like, they're all laughing at the same time, and then he's like slowly crying in laughter because he's losing his sanity. That was a funny scene, I think. But yeah, hail to the king, baby. Groovy. Has anyone ever played Earthworm Jim? I think he stole. I think Bruce Campbell should give him a call and ask for his groovy back. I have the Scream Factory edition of Army Darkness. That includes the fixed discs. Oh, I remember that part from laughter to insanity. Yeah. But, yeah, hey, just so all of you know, don't be afraid to send a message to all of your friends, fellow YouTubers, Jeremy and Jesse, any of them. Let them know they're all welcome to come on board, because it's just, like I said, the Google Hangouts thing was such a hassle, I couldn't even invite them on, and I wanted to. So, yeah, it's that bad with this Google Hangout thing, so I'm gonna have to improvise for a little while. But yeah, I would like to invite everyone on board with this. But, for the meantime, what else is there? Oh yeah, speaking of Army of Darkness and Ash, anyone think they might include him as the DLC character for the next, oh, okay, anyone think they're gonna have Ash from the Evil Dead series in the next Mortal Kombat? Oh, cool! I will definitely look into that open-minded movie, man. But yeah, I definitely would like to see Ash from Evil Dead on in Mortal Kombat. Having his chainsaw arm and his boomstick. In fact, I think what his special move should be, he calls upon that old car of his to run the bad guys over. But I really would like to see Arnold Schwarzenegger's The Terminator, or even Jack Bauer from 24 as a Mortal Kombat character. There was talk he was going to be in as a Mortal Kombat DLC character for either Mortal Kombat 9 or X, but it didn't pan out or work out. But I would definitely like to see Jack Bauer and the Terminator and Ash Williams as bonus characters. I mean, they could get the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Injustice 2. They could find a way to get Ash, the Terminator, and Jack Bauer into Mortal Kombat somehow. Some of his rants are hilarious and true. As for Ash, wish we would have gotten the live-action Ash versus Freddy versus Jason. They would have made a comic. I think they did make a comic of that already. I think, or maybe two, for all I know. I know there was like an Ash versus Xena comic, I think. But what do we call it? I know that there was a WWE game that came out a few years back that had the Terminator in it, and I think that was to coincide with the release of Terminator Genesis. And yes, I do acknowledge Genesis was badly written, but yes, it's on YouTube actually. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, Genesis was badly written, but I still somewhat enjoyed it because Arnold was still good as the Terminator after all these years, and I like it for what it could have been. You see, here's the thing. When I first got into Terminator, I saw Terminator 2 first. That's a bit of a thing with me. When I get into franchises like Terminator, Aliens, and whatnot, more often than not, I get introduced through the second installment, and then I have to go back and see the first one to see what led into it. It started with Terminator, and I saw Terminator 2 first, loved it, and then I saw Terminator 1, loved that too, just loved 2 a little bit more. But now, years later, I have a newfound respect for the original. I, for one, liked Sarah Connor better in the first movie. Nothing against Linda Hamilton or the writing of the character in the second movie. It's just she came off a little too butch. And basically, I feel like, she could have still, been badass with her good looks and femininity. But she came off a little too butch in the second one. That's why I kind of prefer Terminator 1 Sarah over Terminator 2 Sarah. But I do still like that they gave her an arc in the second one where, she was... I don't know if I mentioned this in a previous thing or at all, but one can actually draw parallels to what Sarah Connor went through in Terminator 1 to that of a potential rape victim. She wasn't raped, obviously, but Sarah was traumatized by the whole Terminator and Kyle Reese coming into her life. And, you know, she fell in love with her savior, but then her stalker killed the man she loved, and she had to deal with it herself. That's sort of a hero's journey for her in the first movie. But by the second movie, she's so traumatized that essentially she wants to stop feeling like a victim. And believe it or not, I saw Return of the Jedi first before I saw any of the other ones. Yeah, me too. I did play the New Hope video game first, but Return of the Jedi, I think, was the first one I did see, and I love that one more so. And yes, I like it for Slave Leia and Ula, the green Twilight slave girl. First two Terminator movies are the best. James King Cameron. I think you mean to say James Mother F. King Cameron. But anyways, yeah. Back to what I was saying about Sarah. She did not want to feel like a victim anymore. That's why she tried to blow up the computer factory, but got shot and arrested. But then, when she got out, she was to go after the person who built Skynet and caused all the suffering in the future, and by extension, her suffering. So, because of that, she sets out to kill Miles Dyson. Well, either way, he's the king. I think you mean king of the world, not kind of the world. But even so, I won't criticize. But anyways, basically, she sets out to try and kill Miles Dyson, and she would have done it, but she stopped herself at the last minute because she realized she would be no better than the person or the thing that victimized her. Working and lurking. But yeah, back to what I was saying about drawing parallels between what Sarah Connor went through and a rape victim is sometimes you can tell a potential victim is going to be that, no different than, is going to be no better than that which victimized them. Sometimes people, whether they're man or woman, they tend to, when they get victimized, they don't want to feel victimized anymore, and in their desperation to stop feeling like a victim, they overcompensate and go down a very dark road. And that also brings me to Supergirl, the series, on CW. I feel like that there's potential good story to be told there, but it looks like it's gone the liberal route of Supergirl's right, everyone else is wrong, end of story kind of liberalism or whatever. I may be saying the wrong words. I'm not, like I said, I'm not keen on politics or anything like that, but basically, for anyone who has seen Supergirl right by now, her enemy is Agent of Liberty, and he is a alien-hating guy who's basically committing crimes and victimizing aliens. But there was that one episode that gave us his origin where, you know, him and his family worked at a steel mill. They owned a steel mill, and it was being shut down in favor of Nth Metal production by Luthor Corp. And Lena Luthor's supposed to be the good person now, but she essentially is shutting down their mill in order for her to promote the Nth Metal materials. And it's like when they go in one day, this one worker who is an alien, one human throws a rock at him, and inadvertently activates his defense mechanism, which is like spikes shooting out of his body. Agent Liberty's father gets injured. Supergirl and the DEO show up. They do tend to the father's wound, but they're more focused on protecting the alien rather than the human who was hurt. And it's like Supergirl and the DEO are biased toward aliens and not actually contributing to both parties. So it's interesting how, you know, Supergirl's supposed to be fighting for all, yet she's biased. So it kind of makes you wonder there. But I won't get too in-depth on that right now. I'll find some other time to get more into that. I actually wrote a long comment on someone's video regarding this, and that's the interesting thing. The comment started off because of the fact that someone mentioned Boston Legal and The Practice. Two good shows that did go into politics and religion and all that, but in a way that did not alienate anyone, did not upset people. And it was like a perfect, it told both sides of the spectrum without picking a side. And unfortunately, that's what everyone is doing nowadays. Cody Boddicker. I think I'm saying that right. Boddicker, kind of like I believe Boddicker was the name of the bad guy from RoboCop. So if I'm saying it right, do please correct me. Open-minded movie man. I actually have a soft spot for Supergirl. Oh yeah, not a film. That's good. Well, I wouldn't know really because I never actually saw the film. The only Superman movies I ever saw were the first one I technically ever saw. Oh hell yeah, Denny Crane. Oh yeah. Supergirl 84 was fine. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't know. I still have yet to see it. But yeah, okay. Let me wrap up the Superman thing first, and then I'll get right on to Boston Legal. Oh, I did say your name correct, so that's good. But yeah, back to Superman. The very first Superman thing I ever got into technically was The Dark Knight Returns, where he was a stooge for the government. And clearly not the best first introduction to the world's first classic superhero. I then saw Superman Returns, and probably not the best live-action introduction to the character. Nothing against the actors or anything. I clearly did not like Lois Lane in that movie. She came off as a bit of a bitch, because you know, she just did not treat Superman or Clark very well. Why does this hero have any attraction to her if she doesn't even treat him well? But yeah, the fact is, when Man of Steel was first being promoted, and yes, I was suckered in when Christopher Nolan's name was in the trailer. I thought because he was involved, he was going to do with Superman like he did with Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy. And yeah, I got suckered into it. I thought Superman was going to be a more believable, realistic telling of this hero. But I realized going in, I had only ever seen Superman Returns, and I barely even remembered it. So I had to get more immersed in my Superman lore. I went looking through fanfics, and as a result, I came across a very good fanfic. Superman Returns wasn't a perfect. I agree, Lois Lane and the actress wasn't good at all. Ralph and Spacey were good, but giving nothing to do. Honestly, it was just a lackluster film. Yeah, definitely. But it at least felt like Superman, unlike Man of Steel turned out. But yeah, before going into Man of Steel, I needed to brush up on my Superman lore. I resorted to fanfics, and I stumbled across the best type of fanfic, in my opinion, is the crossover types. I came across a crossover fanfic between Smallville, which I remembered was a Superman style show, and X-Men Evolution. It basically started with the beginning of Smallville Season 3, after the Red K summer, where he was doped on red kryptonite to run away from the fact that he inadvertently caused his mother's miscarriage. And instead of Lex Luthor showing up to buy the farm to keep it running, Professor Charles Xavier comes along and invites them to his X-Mansion and Bayville, which is the town in which the X-Men reside in X-Men Evolution, for those who don't know. And another interesting thing was, in the Smallville series, a professor named Swan, played by the now late Christopher Reeve, he was basically part of a group called Veritas, a group of big minds who foresaw the coming of Superman, or at least intercepted messages from Krypton that said one of their own was coming and he would be, you know, a savior of humanity. And basically it was made up of, in the show itself, it was made up of at least, I think 6 people, or I think, let's see, there was the Teague family, the husband-wife, the Teague, Mr. and Miss Teague, and then there was, Lionel Luthor, father of Lex Luthor. There was the Queen family, Robert and I think Maria Queen. I don't know if it was Moira at the time, but and then there was, of course, Christopher Reeve's character, Professor Swan. But the thing is, minor spoiler for the show, Lionel Luthor orchestrated the death of the queens on a sea trip. Hence, you know, the origin of Green Arrow. And thus, Lionel and the Teagues, who both wanted to use the Star Child, which would be Superman, to build themselves up, they own controlling interest of Veritas, leaving Professor Swan with no say in them anymore. But and Professor Swan was the more honorable of the group, along with the queens. But then there was fighting between the Teagues and Lionel for control, and of course Veritas slowly fell apart. I take it back. Only saw a little bit of the crossover of Batman and Superman, and I know how it ends. Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, basically in this Smallville X-Men Evolution crossover, Professor X was also a member of Veritas, and when the Veritas broke apart, he went focusing more on his mutant, fighting for mutant rights, leaving Professor Swan all alone to look for the Star Child, aka Superman. During the show of Smallville, you know, Professor Swan did approach Clark, tell him everything about him, because the Kents didn't know much, even though they did keep the spaceship hidden. But yeah, in this fanfic, opens up with Smallville Season 3, where there's no Lex Luthor to bail out the Kents, but Professor Swan goes to Professor X to have him bring Clark in to take care of him, so that he can, you know, understand mutants a little bit better. And hold on, I got a little issue here. My screen's going dark here for some reason. Oh, okay, now I'm back. Okay. Sorry about that for a moment there. I experienced. I think because I wasn't moving the mouse enough, the screen was gonna go into screensaver mode or whatever it is. But yeah, essentially it was the start of a good fanfic. You know, it told Clark Kent, young Superman, at the X-Mansion from Season 2 of X-Men Evolution onward, and slowly it started off as just a crossover between Superman and X-Men, to a whole DC and Marvel crossover, because Spider-Man, who was never featured in X-Men Evolution, gets introduced in the fanfic and all that. And then the cool thing is, as Clark grows, he spends a lot of time with Spider-Man, and that reminds me of another thing. Golden Age Superman in the comics, he was the Spider-Man before Spider-Man. He was the one who was lighthearted, cracking jokes and quips, and he was not godlike. He was down to earth. His strength, he was like only strong enough just to lift a car over his head, I think. Personally, I feel his nickname Man of Steel should be should basically tell you how strong he really is. He really is only as strong as steel, kind of like Colossus. He doesn't need his skin to look metal in order for him to be as strong as metal. But yeah, he's essentially as strong as steel, and steel can be broken and bent. So every time I see people shoot bullets at Superman, maybe they could bounce off his super suit, but if they shoot at him when he's in his, like, civvies, they could, like, leave bruises and make him feel pain. But yeah, and the only thing that could really, really hurt Superman in the Golden Age was a tank shell or a bazooka. And there was no need for kryptonite. But, yeah, I mean, Golden Age Superman was how Shuster and Siegel first imagined him, and then DC, after they claim the rights to Superman, they blow him out of proportion by making him godlike, pulling many different powers out of their asses to give him heat vision, freeze breath, psychic abilities, super mimicry, or whatever. I mean, really, that is not how you grow a character. You grow a character by all the trials and tribulations he goes through that he can't just solve with a punch or a simple power. But yeah, I mean, if Shuster and Siegel wanted him to be a godlike being, they would have called him Super God, not Superman. Jeez. And, I mean, why isn't anyone telling them at DC, people at DC, this? Why are they still portraying Superman as a godlike humanoid instead of a down-to-earth Spider-Man type guy who can't always save the day because he's limited in terms of his strength and speed? If I were to tell my own Superman story, I don't know if any of you read any exchanges I have had with whatchamacallit, Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers, or EVS, Ethan Van Sciver at Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I actually had this idea called Superman Meets Myth. Basically, it's a take on, I think it's a bit of a fable type story called Man Meets Myth. But yeah, Superman Meets Myth basically would be how I would reboot Superman. I would have him, let's see here. LOL, when I came into the chat, I got a warning someone you blocked as a mod is here. And then, Open-Minded Movie Man? Yeah, Captain America is more like Superman than the one Cavill portrayed. Absolutely! But yeah, back to what I was saying. Superman Meets Myth. He would be a Golden Age Superman. He's only as strong as steel, no matter what. He can push himself to lift, like, for example, he could lift a car over his head with ease, but he would have, there was this old Superman cartoon, like, I think in the 40s or something, called Fleischer Superman, I think. If you look it up, you might enjoy it, where he actually had the strength to push a leaning skyscraper back into place. I think a Superman who's only strong as steel could do that, but he has to really, really struggle with it. And you gotta show him struggle with it. But yeah, my Superman would only be as strong as steel, as fast as Captain America, none of that Flash speed. Flash is supposed to be the fastest man alive, therefore Superman cannot be anywhere near his level. But yeah, he could only run as fast as Captain America, and he is probably faster when he's flying. And yet, I know originally when Shuster and Siegel created Superman, he couldn't fly, he could only super leap, but Superman isn't supposed to be the Hulk. And every time I see a hero with a cape, that tells me, to me, the cape is a symbol of being able to fly. If they can't fly, then don't give them the cape. They gave Superman a cape, but he didn't actually fly at first. But then the Fleischer cartoons I mentioned actually, hope you get your power back up, Laura. It's a short story. But yeah, essentially, the character would start off with super leaping, but then the cartoon, creators of the cartoon asked them if they can redo it where he actually flies, because trying to animate a character leaping was very difficult back then. So yeah, and like I said, I used to play the Super Mario Brothers or Super Mario World video game for the Super Nintendo, And every time you pick up the feather, Mario has a cape on his back to show that he can fly or glide. And honestly, I think that's what you need to do with heroes who have capes. I know the whole Edna mode from The Incredibles says no capes because they can be a problem, but Superman was created with a cape. Therefore, he should fly. And I think his speed should be limited to like 400 miles an hour, the maximum speed of a jet. That way he can he can only fly so fast to do things and such. And when he flies, he's faster flying than he is running. But yeah, like I was saying, my Superman meets Myth. Superman would be a limited Golden Age version. Growing up with issues, and yes, he does get to do a little social commentary, not a minor one. Superman would have an accent, because when I see Superman, sometimes I think the best person that could have played him, if they had got him at the time, was Arnold Schwarzenegger, because Arnold does have the physique and chiseled look of Superman, but obviously he has that accent of his Austrian accent. But the thing is, I think you can make that work for Superman, because Superman is technically an alien, for he should have an accent. Now, you're also probably wondering, why should he have an accent? You're probably wondering why he should have an accent on the, don't forget to hit the melee button, people. No way, Neophobius asks. But yeah, Superman, you may wonder why he should even have an accent. But here's the thing. Most people who know the origin know that he put in a rocket ship when he was a newborn, but when he reaches Earth, he looks to be 3 years old when the Kents first find him. Therefore, you could pretty much assume he had to be raised by the artificial intelligence on the ship, and I'm pretty sure it would have spoken natural native Kryptonian. Oh, Obi-Wan Reviews, hello. But yeah, basically Superman being raised by an artificial intelligence on his own rocket ship from newborn to 3 years old, he would likely pick up an accent, the native Kryptonian. When he lands on Earth, he'll take some time to learn how to actually speak. Oh, hello again. No way, Neophobic. But yeah, Superman would have an accent from the computer, even though he would learn how to speak English. He would have a funny accent, kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, you're probably wondering what kind of accent would a Kryptonian have, or even what their language is. I saw another YouTuber a while back on what language is Kryptonian or something like that. He did decipher how the Kryptonian alphabet was written, and how it drew inspiration from ancient Turkish. So I would think that Kryptonians on Krypton would speak a form of Turkish, because those who know Star Wars know that the Twi'lek race, their language and their accent is based on the French. So, can't stick around, gotta go to work, just thought you'd say hi. Oh, yeah, hail Doomcock. Thank you for coming on board, Obi-Wan Reviews. Hope to see you again. But, yeah, apparently, because the Twi'leks from Star Wars are kind of like based on the French, Superman and Kryptonians, by that logic, should be based on the Turkish. So I would have Superman land in Heartland, the America's Heartland, Smallville, Kansas. He does learn to speak English, but because he grew up 3 years of his life in a spaceship with a Kryptonian AI, he has the Kryptonian accent, which is basically based on Turkish. And this continues throughout the rest of his life. He speaks with an accent, so when he's in high school in Smallville, some kids will bully him, pick on him, because they think because he has an accent, he's not a native to America, now he should go back to where he came from. And obviously he can't, because his home was destroyed. They think he's a foreigner, They just don't know how foreign he really is. But yeah, in my Superman meets Myth, he grows up, becomes Superman, starts saving people, one of which is Lois Lane. But Lois Lane in this is not the typical fangirl of Superman. She's more like a bit of an egocentric order trying to make her mark. She gets the interview with Superman, and she doesn't she's like exaggerating what he can do. Can you like shoot fire at your eyes, freeze people with your breath? And then he's like, no, that's overpowering and silly. I'm not capable of that. And basically, it's basically speaking true to who he is. He's not just being modest, he's actually speaking fact. But when he starts telling her a bit about himself, the next day she prints out a paper showing that, basically falsifying stories about him, telling everyone that he is like a god, that he is powerful in all this, and he can do all these different things. So kind of like saying Superman can save the world because he's Superman. Basically, she exaggerates Superman to the nth degree. See what I did there? But yeah, Lex Luthor can be the villain because he doesn't buy it, and he's going to set out to prove Superman's a fraud, that he is no god. What makes you relate to Superman is that Lex is right, but he shouldn't have to go through all that just to prove it. Superman's trying to tell the truth, but Lois is like constantly exaggerating stories about him. But yeah, basically, when Superman starts saving people, they're saying, people are saying, "Save him, Superman! Use your heat vision to burn through the wall!" And he's like, "I can't do that. What kind of hero are you?" And then, so yeah, basically the people think Superman is meant to be a god, but he isn't, and people are turning on him for this. But then, and he does fail to save some people, kind of like Spider-Man. This makes Superman's life difficult because people believe a hero with super strength, speed, and flight is so super he's practically a god. And he's trying to tell them, no, it's not the case, and they're not listening. One day he schedules a press con, and by the way, he does reprimand Lois, telling her that she caused all this bad heat I'm getting is because of you, and basically makes Lois realize how shallow she was. She exaggerated stories about him to get ahead, and now his life is being made more difficult. But then, yeah, Superman will schedule a press conference and tell everyone that just because I'm not a god doesn't mean that I am not a hero. I risk my life every day to help all of you, and you're turning on me just because I can't do the things you want me to do. And then people will start claiming Superman is America's greatest hero, kind of like people claim Arnold Schwarzenegger is America's greatest athlete or actor. And then the haters, kind of like the bullies back in high school, will come along and say, "You have an accent. You're not even from America. You're not America's greatest hero." And then, of course, Superman will finally put them in their place by saying, "Last time I checked, America was founded by immigrants." Slam dunk. But yeah, that's how I would tell a Superman meets Myth story. It may not be the best story, but that's how I would tell a more realistic, believable, relatable, likable Superman. Tell me what you all think about that. But yeah, I think Superman is a great hero. I just think he has been exaggerated by DC from what, and he's no longer the hero that was originally created by Schuster and Siegel in that respect. And I think if DC were smart and want to make Superman great again, I know how that sounds, but please just go with it. If they want to make Superman great again, I think they need to really tone him back down to Golden Age levels and keep him there and present him with real challenges of being that limited in his power. And then just, show that he doesn't need to be godlike to overcome his issues. He's just got to be a bit smarter is all that. Ah, thank you. Very interesting concept. Sounds great. Thumbs up. That's good. But yeah, I mean, and it's not just Superman who has been made godlike by DC. Wonder Woman was made that way for a while, because I mean, she's supposed to be every bit as good as Superman, but the difference is her powers are magic. Superman's are scientific. So that kind of gives her a bit of an edge over him, because we all know magic, along with kryptonite, is one of his weaknesses. So, yeah. Make Superman great again? MSGA. That's good. That's very good. I love it. But yeah, Wonder Woman, she was supposed to be limited to, to a degree, but then she became godlike and all that. And by the way, I think that she should not be able to bounce or deflect bullets off her her wristband, because let's think about it. A bullet is so fast. Now I know one of the great nicknames for Superman is faster than a speeding bullet, but by giving him that kind of speed, he essentially is nearing Flash speed, and he shouldn't have that, obviously. So Superman should not be faster than a speeding bullet, because otherwise he risks being as fast as the Flash, and you can't tell a grounded Superman if he has almost the same power as the Flash. Now, so yeah, I think Wonder Woman needs to be limited to, she cannot be able to quickly move her arms so fast that she can dodge bullets or deflect them. I think that Wonder Woman, instead, her gauntlets should project energy shields around her, or a giant barrier around her, and that's how she deflects the bullets. But she has to... And I know it would be difficult if she did it as in her Diana Prince form, but hey, sometimes you gotta risk a little exposure every now and then. No pun intended. They made Superman as fast as the Flash in Justice League. Yeah, I will admit that was a bit of problematic, but everyone knows the whole Superman versus Flash race thing. So I like that scene just for that. They were acknowledging that little moment. But yeah, Superman should never be as fast as the Flash, or even close to as fast. Like I said, Superman, his greatest feat is his strength, but he is as strong. I think he should either stay as strong as Steel, as his name implies, Man of Steel. But if he can be stronger than that, he has to work up to it. He has to actually will himself to be stronger than that. Other than that, his greatest feat is either his strength or his flight. His speed should be equal to that of Captain America. It was always as a competition between Khalid. Yeah, but it's just not the same. I mean, if you're saying Superman is near as fast as the Flash, then what's the point in even having the Flash? Because, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I think what you need to limit these Justice League DC superheroes, because how can they complement each other if they all are pretty much the same? I mean, they may be different characters with different backgrounds, but if they have the same exact power sets, then it kind of makes it redundant to have them work as a team. Flash just gets better because Kal-El is going after him? Maybe. But yeah, I mean, if I were to tell my own Justice League, like I said, Superman, he would be limited to strength of steel, and his flight is good, and his speed is the weakest part of him. But he is a charismatic, relatable hero and all that. And by the way, that whole secret identity thing for Clark, here's what I would do for Superman. I would always, when he says Superman in the daytime, I would do, for those of you who saw the pilot episode of Supergirl, we know how when he first stumbles upon Kara in her spaceship, he's like silhouetted because the sun is like direct just behind his head, shadowing his face. So I think Superman would be more wise enough to fight like that during the daytime. Every time he's out saving the day or fighting a villain, he's always making sure that the people are on one side, the sun is on the other, so that way anyone looking at Superman can't see his face because the glaring light of the sun making it impossible to make it out his face. And that would be, and then during the nighttime, he would be more keeping his head in the shadows, so this way that no one can make it out his face. So that's how I would fix the whole disguise thing. But and that way when he's stumbling around as Clark Kent with his glasses on, people really can't tell it's him because they never really are able to make out the face of Superman because of the glaring sun and the shadows. But yeah, essentially my Justice League would be Superman. He may not be the strongest or the fastest, but his flight is good, and he is a good, relatable leader of a hero. Batman, he should be limited to being the inventor, kind of like Tony Stark. He invents the gadgets and tools needed to solve the problems that mere brains and brawn just can't cut. No offense. And then Wonder Woman, she could be the magic practitioner. You know, she not only can project an energy shield around her with her gauntlets, but she can maybe, like her lasso of truth can be used to. And by the way, I know that a lot of people wonder why Wonder Woman can fly when she originally had the invisible jet and all that. I kind of like this one idea that I think I saw somewhere on a video where she can actually twirl her lasso of truth like a helicopter, and that's what allows her to fly. I know it sounds a little silly, but if she's magic, then you can roll with it. But, yeah, basically she would be the magic practitioner, and Flash would be the speedster. He would be the fastest man alive. But I think also, the comics and the show gave Flash too many powers that come from his speed. If I had to limit the Flash, I would limit it to one or two abilities. If I limit it to just one, he's just super fast and all that. But if I had to give him one more, not the phasing ability, though I do remember that is a popular one, he does not run. He is not so fast that he phases through solid objects. He will be fast enough to travel through time. Because when I see the Flash, this TV show, my favorite episodes are the ones where he's going back to events that he had already lived through, and he's trying his best not to screw with the space-time continuum while he's there, because it makes it unpredictable. It's kind of like Back to the Future Part 2, where Marty went back to the 50s that he had already been in for a whole week, and he's trying not to mess with the events that he already lived through, lest he make things more complicated and chaotic. Those, to me, are the best episodes of Flash, where he has to go back to moments he's already been through and try not to mess with his previous self. And personally, I would make sure that Flash... And I know a perfect way to make the whole Flash time travel thing work. I could either make it one of two ways. Either the Flash is fast enough to break the sound or the speed of light and end up traveling back in time. It could be, basically his speed could be kind of like the DeLorean from Back to the Future, where if he hits a certain amount of speed when running, and he ends up going forward or backward in time, depending on, what goes on. And he has to think of where he's going, and if he doesn't, if his mind isn't focused on where he's going or where he wants to go, he could end up anywhere at random. And that can be a bad thing, because if he is not thinking, he could either run so far back in time to before there was life on Earth and end up, dying, or he could run so fast to the point where the Earth is destroyed in the future and die from lack of oxygen and all that. And that's why he would likely have to wear a speedometer on his wrist to tell him how fast he's going whenever he's out fighting crime, because if he doesn't keep eye on how fast he's going when he's battling criminals, he could accidentally go through time against his own will. There's that idea, or the Flash could, only do the forward and backward through time travel on the cosmic treadmill, if that's a thing and all that. But bottom line, in my Justice League, Flash is the speed, Batman's the brains, Wonder Woman is the magic, Superman is the leader, and all that. But yeah, because, that's the thing. If you don't limit these heroes, how can they not only be not relatable, but how can they complement each other as a team? That, I feel, is the one problem with DC and making all their characters godlike, with most of them having the same powers. They even make Batman godlike every now and then by having him solve every problem and never be beaten. And I know there is that extreme, hardcore fan base of Batman beats everyone because he's Batman. Kind of like the whole Chuck Norris beats everyone because he's Chuck Norris. And nothing against Batman or Chuck Norris and all that. But really, people, have some common sense. Batman can get his ass whooped by a few people here and there. I'm pretty sure Darkseid can whip his ass. But I'm pretty sure also Batman would take time to think of a way to beat Darkseid if he had the time. But in a straight-up one-on-one, random fight out of nowhere, he would totally get owned by Darkseid. But, yeah, I just feel like DC, they have a problem with most of their best characters being, godlike and having mostly the same power. Now, the one thing I remember talking with Ethan Van Sciver about was the whole, there used to be a time where DC and Marvel, you did crossover comics, and as a result of this, we got to see some good stories, potential stories, but this all ended when, what was his name? Who's the guy who I think he did he was behind the One More Day and a Brand New Day storyline. What was his name again? Could you write it in the comments, please? I think, I don't know if it was John Romita, or I don't remember what his name is. He's the one that people blame for the whole Brand New Day and Spider-Man and MJ no longer being married and all that. In fact, I think he created Carly Cooper. I think he named her after his daughter and paired her up with Spider-Man in the comics, but they're trying to I think true hardcore fans of Spider-Man comics are trying to undo that now and all that. But yeah, the one guy who currently is like the head of Marvel at the moment, I think, he made a bad remark, apparently, toward DC, saying they have these characters like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, The Flash, and they don't know what to do with them. It's like having a legendary porn star who can't get it up, or something like that. And because of this bad remark by him, DC took a screenshot or something of that comment, and I think they framed it on a wall, and now they no longer want anything to do with Marvel because this jerkweed who ended Spider-Man and Mary Jane's marriage ended up killing any potential for more Marvel DC crossover stories, and probably better crossover stories than most of the ones we have gotten. I'm not saying that the ones we got were bad, but there was some stuff that could have been told a little bit better. I'm sure there are fans on the internet right now who could tell some better crossovers between two different universes. For example, if you were to tell a Marvel DC shared universe, how would the origins of some of these heroes be different? Oh, just typed it into Google, so I'm not sure how accurate this is, but what says Dan Slott, Mark Guggenheim, Bob Dale, Zeb Wells. Yeah, maybe it's Dan Slott. I don't know. Maybe It was I know it's one of the guys who's currently in charge of Marvel or something like that. Maybe if you typed up Carly Cooper, Marvel's Carly Cooper, maybe we can find out who the creator of her character was, and maybe we'll figure it out. But yeah, like I was saying, if there was a DC Marvel shared universes, how would the origins of some of these legendary heroes be different? I know everyone who loves Wonder Woman likes that it was set in World War I instead of World War II, but if Wonder Woman did, participate in World War II, how different would it be with Captain America involved? My guess is that it's Steve Rogers who crashes on Themyscira, not Steve Trevor. Captain America is her inspiration for participating in World War II and trying to stop the Nazis and Hydra. And of course, Cap and Bucky do disappear, because it's destined to happen, leaving Diana alone and grieving because she come to admire Steve and maybe come to love him. So, but because he made it a difference to her, Wonder Woman could become one of the founding members of S.H.I.E.L.D., along with Peggy Carter and all that. And because she's sort of an immortal woman, or that she can maintain her good looks for the next 70-some years, she's wearing a suit by the time Steve Rogers comes back. And she's not the same person she was when he last saw her, because she's a little more strict and, military-like. And he's trying to remind her of who she used to be now, in a time where she's already seen and been through a lot of stuff. And then there's another factor. Batman. If he does that whole journey around the world to try and understand criminals and learn how to stand up to them, now we all know... Now, I'm obviously referencing the Batman Begins movie origin, where, he does come across Ra's al Ghul and is trained by him and all that. But there were other people around the world who did train him in the different stuff, like Zatara, father of Zatanna, in the animated series. But what if also Batman, during his 7-year journey abroad around the world, what if Bruce Wayne came across fellow billionaire, Daniel Rand, aka Iron Fist? What if Bruce Wayne trained with Daniel Rand at Kunlun? And then, he left. Bruce never did become Iron Fist or anything like that, but he at least he learned their martial arts style to go with some of the ones he's already learned. And this way, because he and a fellow billionaire were like trying to find their way, and they learned it at Kunlun, they could know each other later on when Batman and Iron Fist meet again after so long. And then what about how would how would the X-Men fare with meeting Superman in this crossover? Would it be like the Smallville X story that I mentioned a little while ago, or what? That's what I loved about Nolan's version of Batman. Yeah. I definitely love that too. It's funny, I remember Batman and Robin. I remember it because, looking back on it now, I know it had some bad stuff in it. But I enjoyed it because, it was kid-friendly and I was a kid at the time. I was wondering when the next movie was going to be, I heard that the character Scarecrow was going to be the main villain and all that. And then after almost a decade, finally we got Batman Begins, and like what was told back when Batman and Robin was recently released, Scarecrow was indeed the villain in this, or at least a villain in this. And I was shocked because when I first saw Batman Begins, back when it came out, I had never heard of Ra's al Ghul before. And I had seen the animated series. I now know he was in it, but I had never been familiar with Ra's al Ghul, ever. I thought he was a newly made character for the movie. So after the movie was over, my stepdad apparently cleared that up with me, and I was like, really? He's a well-known Batman villain from the comics? And turns out that was true, you know? And I think Liam Neeson did great. I mean, him and the actor, the Japanese actor who played his stunt double, or or his doppel, the stand-in for the appearances and all that, because Ra's al Ghul had to be more than just a man and all that. But yeah, both actors did a good job portraying a version of Ra's al Ghul, and that was good, What shocked me was, I liked that I saw Liam Neeson because I remember him as Qui-Gon Jinn from Phantom Menace, and it was cool seeing him now going from the mentor of Obi-Wan Kenobi to the mentor of Batman. But then when he turns around at the end of the film and is revealed to be the villain, I was like, huh? Yeah, it totally took me off guard. But, essentially, Ra's al Ghul is one of the best villains ever thought through. Yeah. But, I was like, I had no idea who Ra's al Ghul was until after I saw Batman Begins. I thought he was recently made for that movie. I was shocked when I found out he was actually in the comics and in the cartoon, and I completely forgot about it. And that's another thing, too, speaking of characters and all that. When I first saw Harley Quinn in the animated series, I thought she had been in comics before the movies ever came out. In fact, it was after seeing Batman Forever and the Batman animated series that had Harley Quinn. I then went back and saw the Tim Burton Batman with Jack Nicholson as Joker. And that girl, that blonde mob boss's girl that he was with, I thought she was supposed to be Harley Quinn. And I was like disappointed I didn't see her in the red and black outfit, but then I learned later on, oh, that's not Harley Quinn. What? She wasn't even made by the time? Oh, she was made in the cartoon. Oh. But yeah, Harley Quinn was always a fan favorite of mine. I mean, I knew she was a villain, but she wasn't really a villain, She was just a girl who, had the hots for a guy who was merely toying with her feelings. And then New 52 comes along, and they make her a sadistic, psychotic woman, and I'm sorry, that's not my Harley. Harley was always the kind of person who caused mayhem, but even she knew where her limits were. She never brought herself to kill anyone. It was like she was a noble villain, She had her code and morals despite her loyalty to the Joker. And the Joker had always been trying to break her. And she never let him break her, because when he was going to take her to try and escape Gotham before it was nuked, she was not going to leave until she stayed their friends. Suicide Squad, still haven't seen it, have you? Oh, I have it. I have seen it, and I do have it on Blu-ray DVD. I just haven't got around to watching it yet. But, now here's the thing. I think Margot Robbie did a great job as Harley Quinn. Problem was, the character was not written well, because the people who made it thought she and the Joker were in love and were meant to be together. Clearly, they do not know the characters as well as they think they do, because we all know Joker does not love Harley. He is using her just to get... And yes, sometimes he will dispose of her. But then when he finds a new use for her, he takes her back just so that he can use her again. He does not care about her. But apparently, dumb Hollywood, Warner Brothers, wanted to tell it where they did love each other. And that's stupid. In fact, I always think they should have... I actually thought of an idea that would also be a good idea for a Batman story. A Batman story where Bruce Wayne meets Harley Quinn before she becomes Harley Quinn. As Harleen Quinzel, Bruce and Harleen are like... Harleen's one of the women that actually likes Bruce, and he actually likes her, but then he goes off to be Batman, and goes off on his journey to become Batman, and she's feeling dumped and alone and miserable. That's when she takes her job as a psychiatrist at Arkham. The Joker kind of, manipulates her into siding with him and all that. She then becomes Harley Quinn with Joker, and then, you know, when Batman is battling Joker and Harley Quinn, he learns that Harley Quinn is Harley, and as Bruce Wayne, he tries to reach out to her, trying to get her to come back, but she's not buying it. She thinks that he's going to play with her again, you know, toy with her. And then we do something that Bruce Wayne has never been known to do unless absolutely pushed to that point. Bruce Wayne does love Harley enough in the story that he'll do whatever he can to get her back, to the point of taking his mask off for her, showing Harley that Bruce Wayne is Batman. And the truth hits her now. She realizes maybe she didn't truly know Bruce after all, despite her degree in psychology. But then it starts to make sense to her. But now she's conflicted. Does she take him back, stop this criminal lifestyle, or does she stay loyal to Joker because she really cannot trust Bruce because of the way he already toyed with her? And with that, during this conflict, Joker sees that she's not as committed to him as she was, and so kind of like kind of like the cathedral scene at the end of Tim Burton's Batman. Joker takes Harley up to the top of the tower. Batman follows. There's a struggle between Batman and Joker. Harley's off to the side watching. Seeing the two of them going back and forth is a visual representation of the conflict within herself. Does she side with Bruce, or does she side with Joker? Then the struggle gets out of hand. Joker knocks into Harley, and then they both fall over the side. Bruce reaches down. He's got Harley in her hand, by her right hand. Joker has Harley by her left hand, and it's like a cliff-hanging tug of war between for Harley's soul. Does she rise up to Does she let Batman pull her up to safety, or does she let Joker pull her down into madness? And it's like a good visual symbolism there, but how it ends is still yet to be determined. It could go one way or the other. Either she lets the Joker fall to his death, and lets Batman pull her up, and they embrace and, you know, fly up into the night, or she feels like she can't trust Bruce, so she lets him go. They both fall, and then they either both die or they have a parachute and they can survive the fall or whatever. But yeah, it's like you could have a good ending or bad ending, that story. Something I don't think anyone's ever thought of, because I remember in the animated series, Harley kissed Batman and enjoyed it, and I feel like that is one pairing no one has thought to, you know, consider telling a story about. I mean, the idea of a love triangle between Batman, Harley, and Joker, that could actually make for good, juicy storytelling. Well, I've been streaming for 2 hours, and my throat's getting a little dry, and I am definitely parched, so I'm going to call this live stream quits for the evening. So I want to thank all of you for giving me they're taking the time out of their schedule or their day to or their evening actually to be part of this live stream with me and chat with me, give me some ideas to talk about and all that. And I hope to make this a little more recurring thing. Though for the time being, it's going to have to not include visual, because unfortunately, having the, like I said earlier, I tried the Google Hangouts thing. Having both the microphone and the camera on makes it all robotic and gives me problems. Oh, yeah, thank you for, like I said, I always loved Harley, that, but and I feel like DC keeps telling her as more of a villain and evil rather than a good girl who's just on the wrong side of things. But yeah, I want to thank you all for being part of this live stream, and hopefully this will be a more recurring thing. Hopefully with time I'll be able to finally show myself while allowing you all to hear me, and there won't be any buffering robotic technical issues. But for the time being, I'm just going to have to make do with what we've been doing for the last hour and a half. So thank you all for coming, and be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment below, and we'll see you later. And you can bet on that.